A new Steam Deck belongs to one of two groups, the majority with no defects at all, and the minority with one or more defects. When I realized that my day one machine was part of the second, and this is not an uncommon occurrence with a product just launched, I had to decide between two courses of action: do nothing or ask the Steam support for help. This is the message I sent them, where I described two of the three issues of my X deck. The right joystick was stiffer to press than the left one, and made a creaking sound while doing so. In addition, there were some strange symmetrical marks on the front shell, possibly caused by the carrying case or the manufacturing process. The third issue was this. The fan at full speed produced a high-pitched two-tone noise. I didn't mention it to them for two reasons. A. I may simply have been more sensitive to those high frequencies than others. And B. At the time I thought all deck fans had the same noise signature. Now I know that some are quieter than others. Anyway, I asked what we could have done about them. The first of 7 representatives I wrote with requested video evidence of such stiff stick and whether those weird markings were affecting the functionality of my device, and so I did. Now I will show you the clip and photos I sent them, and as a bonus a section of my first deck video where I reckon you can clearly hear the high-pitched two-tone fan noise. The second rep, like I said myself about those marks, regarded the stick issue as not affecting the functionality of my device, but acknowledged that it had an impact on my experience. For this reason, they offered me a one-time opportunity to get a replacement. At that point, I was awfully conflicted. If my new unit had been flawless, I would have been obviously delighted. But what if my new unit had been more flawed than the old one? I wouldn't have gotten another. After pondering over these two possibilities, their ramifications, and other options, such as waiting for the availability of spare parts this summer, I resolved that the best choice for me would have been to try and ask for a refund. In this way, I could have reserved one more deck, and Valve would surely have ironed out all its teething problems by the time I would have received it. Luckily, the third rep did accept my counteroffer. The fourth, after a small contradiction in terms, which foreshadowed my conversation with the next two reps, gave me thorough instructions on how to pack and ship the deck properly. The exchange between the fifth rep, the sixth, and myself was confusing indeed, but quite amusing as well. This is a summarized version of it. Yellow: you will get a replacement. Me: will I get a replacement or a refund? Cyan: a refund. Yellow: a replacement. But to be fair, the latter in their debut message said, "We do apologize for any inconvenience, confusion and delay." Thus, they are excused. In the end, the Netherlands warehouse swiftly issued a full reimbursement for the deck itself, and the final rep for the deposit made many weeks ago. Now you finally know what imperfections my day one unit had, and why I opted for a refund and not a replacement. Farewell for now.